Super. So to finish off then, number 6 is the asset register. So if we go into our year end, you'll have the asset register. So even if your receipts and payments, income expenditure, the asset register is the same menu option in here. So what we've talked about a lot today is what will populate boxes 1 to 8, so the main sort of cash book entries. We've also got box 9 and box 10, so apologies if you're Welsh, I'm talking about the English box numbers. Box 9 is our fixed assets, box 10 is our borrowings. So box 9, the asset register, comes from this screen. So obviously you want to come in here, and as part of that process, you make sure that you've got all that information appearing. Now, if you haven't yet put any asset register information into Scribe, you've got sort of 3 options really. One is that you can enter it as I have here. You would click into here, enter in the information, or the very least you need just the description and the purchase value. So what is the asset? How much was it? Okay, and save all that in there. But you'd need to do that as a result from your list, spreadsheet, document, whatever it may be. If you would prefer to maintain your asset register externally to Scribe, maybe you've got a very nice document, spreadsheet, whatever it is for now that you're happy with, I would suggest that you just have a single entry in here. So you would have one entry, call it total council assets, and put the total that you want to see in box 9 in there. So that will appear on Scribe for you as your box 9 figure. If there are ever any queries, obviously you just need to refer to your external record of that. Or the other option is, if you have got it in a sort of fairly good spreadsheet form and you'd like it in Scribe, we can import it for you. So if you'd like to do that, do just pop us an email at hello@scribeaccounts.com to explore that. Jasmine, who works with us, is super duper at sort of sorting it all out, and we can import it if you want to as well, if that's something you'd like to do. But depending on where you are with the information that you've got in the asset register, obviously it's just a case of making sure it's up to date. If you've got anything that you've got rid of, you can dispose it. So the 3 little dots on the right hand side allows you to do that. So it will stay in the year that you disposed it, so you can see that, but it won't feature in your box 9 total because you no longer have that asset anymore. 2 useful things just to mention as well about the asset register. Firstly, if you've bought something in this year that you want to put on the asset register, so let's imagine, obviously a printer cartridge wouldn't go on an asset register, but for sake of arguments, let's say this was something we wanted to put on there. If you've got a payment in your list, you'd find it. You've got the option to 3 little dots on the right hand side and convert to asset. So we've bought something, we want it to appear on the asset register. So rather than having to type it in directly, we can do that. It will pull the information through that it's got from the payment entry, and we can add any other information. It will link it up to that payment so we can see exactly where it's come from. So that's quicker than obviously entering it directly. I've bought an asset, I convert it. So again, it might be useful to do this now if you haven't been doing that as you've been going, to think, have we bought anything in this year that I want on the asset register? And you can do that process. The other thing just to mention in here is to say that under setup, not under setup, sorry, under council profile in your account, you can also determine the type of the asset valuation method. So it's default set to the purchase value because most councils use the original purchase value. The practitioner's guide doesn't specify the method, but this is the usual one. So if that works for you, absolutely fine, that's going to happen. You do have the option though to make it the current value. So if you at your council use the current value, and that's the sort of standard that you're using there, you can set that, and what that will do if you obviously change that and save it, when you're in the asset register, rather than using the total of the purchase value, it will use the total of the current value. Do remember though that if you move between asset valuation methods, you would need to restate so that both years are using the same method. But if you've already resolved to use the current value, you can set that under your council profile. And you can also go to actions up here in the corner to view the report, which will give you all the information. So again, once you've got to the point of having that box 9, you've got the report that supports that information if you have all the information in Scribe.